That's a great question, and I think a lot of people struggle with that, because oftentimes, when we look at ourselves, we see our flaws, we see where we lack, and we see that, sometimes we present the best version of ourselves, but in the meanwhile, we're struggling in other areas of our life. So one of my intentions when I enter, for example, an island like that, or a group of people where I can learn from, and that are people that are at a high level. One of my intentions is, well, let me just put it this way. One of my mindsets is I don't want to be the smartest guy in the room. I would prefer to be the dumbest guy in the room so I can learn. So when you prefer to be quote unquote the dumbest guy in the room, the only way you can do, the only thing you can do is learn. There's the only way is up, and so it's fine not to be the biggest player in the room.
Hey Masters, thanks for listening to another episode of Path to Mastery. Today we're going to talk to you about this crazy phenomenon called Clubhouse, and wow, it's super addicting. I'm experiencing it myself right now, and there's pros and cons to everything, right? If you're smart with it and you use it the right way, then it can be a great opportunity. I've captured this little following in about 5 weeks now, and it's growing every day. And a bunch of those people are following me outside of Clubhouse, which has been great because it's been able to add to my subscribers and people, in my coaching potential programs and training and all that. So it's been awesome. But again, I think it's about being intentional. That said, I want to get you into this episode. So this is going to be really short and sweet, but we've got an amazing event coming March 5th. It's called Virtual Listings Mastery. We have 7 experts that are going to share strategies on how to take listings right now. 7 different strategies. We're going to provide the recordings of it so you can go back and listen to it again. We're going to provide some worksheets. This is just going to be your full in-depth. If you're looking to take listings, which you should be, right? This is where you want to be. So go to virtuallistingsmastery.com, get registered. We're maxing out at 100 because it's my first virtual event, and I want to keep it 100 and below. So we've got, I think, about 35 or so seats left. So get registered for that. Make sure, and then that's March 5th. Virtuallistingsmastery.com, and enjoy this awesome episode. You got some great influencers here on Clubhouse, and also you want to get into Clubhouse, obviously. And if you would follow me on Clubhouse, it's David I. Hill. So just at David I. Hill is my Clubhouse handle. Enjoy. So we're gonna talk to Eelco de Boer today, and he's gonna share some of his strategy with us. And we're gonna have an awesome conversation. I've got some questions for him, and then we're also gonna open it up so that if anybody else has questions, they can just chime in. And you guys, I think, know the drill. You can raise your hands. We'll get you up. And again, my name's David Hill. I'm not sure how many people were here, but I'm a 18-year real estate agent. Recently, I still sell a little bit of real estate here and there. Maybe I list a couple houses a month just to kind of stay sharp, but mostly just coach other real estate agents on how to, not just make money, but also have quality of life and time. So that's really what it's all about. But this today is more about Eelco, man. I just want to say, dude, I appreciate you being here and doing this. A little bit about you, and then I'll let you kind of take over the intro. Is you are, well, why don't I just let you do it, man? You're an entrepreneur. You're, in my mind, you're a thought leader. You're just doing a lot of stuff. You're helping a lot of people. We don't know each other that well yet. We're in a network together. But from what I see you posting and what I see, what you talk about, you seem to have a really, really good heart and really enjoy helping people. And I just respect you so much. So with that said, why don't you tell us, who you are, tell a little bit more about yourself.
Yes, thank you for having me, David. My name is Eelco de Boer. I'm from Amsterdam. I'm an entrepreneur. I've been an entrepreneur all of my life. Both of my parents, they're both in the healthcare. Working in the healthcare, so no entrepreneurs there. I didn't have any entrepreneurs around me when I was young, but it's just in my system. Like, I couldn't help it. I always have these ideas that in my mind would work really well, and started implementing those ideas around the age of 15-ish, and then really started doing business in when I was 20 years ago. Started selling hip hop records online, and from there on, I started growing other companies. So a couple of software companies. But what I do mostly, what I spend a lot of time with, is teaching other entrepreneurs how to create a business and build their business around their lifestyle instead of the other way around. Um, when I look at entrepreneurs, we all start a business for one reason, and that is freedom.
Mm.
That's the goal. But oftentimes when we grow our business and run our business, it's actually the opposite, making a lot of hours, working a lot of hours, and forgetting to actually claim back that freedom. So that's one of the things that I'm very passionate about, helping entrepreneurs claim back their freedom and build a business around their lifestyle instead of the other way around.
Mm. Yeah, agreed, my friend. My next book is coming out in March, and the title is How to Make Even More Money Working Fewer Hours Selling Real Estate. So it is something I am very passionate about myself. So that's amazing. Let's do this. I'd love to have the mods, Rich, if you want to just introduce yourself, tell us a little bit about yourself.
Absolutely. So Rich
If
Goldstein.
Rich is with us, I know Rich
Yeah.
may or may not be with us.
I am
All right, you
here.
know what we'll do is we'll go to Aaron, and if Rich is
Wait.
with us, then Aaron, Rich will come back to him. Aaron is a
Hey,
friend.
Oh, listen, can you hear me?
Yeah, man.
Oh, sorry. No, Pete, we've been having issues with people. Like, I think that Rich is trying to talk, and we just couldn't hear him. So, David, thank you for calling me out, man. I appreciate it. Aaron Wittenstein, Westchester Realtor, Westchester County, New York. Lead generation expert. I love scripting and dialogues. I know David loves that as well. I'm actually heading into an appointment here shortly. Someone I've been in touch with for like 2.5 years, and I'm pretty excited to go meet with. So I've only got about 25 minutes, but I'm excited to learn.
All right, awesome. Okay, so what I'd like everybody to do is start thinking about your questions. If you have questions, please raise your hands, and we will get you up here. I'm going to make Mike Wiseman a moderator as well. So Mike, you can keep your eyes, help us with inviting peeps up when we need to. Okay, and if anybody else is interested, just raise your hand. So Eelco, how long have you been on Clubhouse now?
Well, that's an interesting question. I've been on Clubhouse for 29 days now. So I've been active on Clubhouse for 29 days. I think I downloaded the app January 1st, or maybe the last day of last year. But I've been active for 29 days now.
All right, so I love it, and I saw this morning. So I've been on Clubhouse for about maybe 3 weeks now, and I was proud of my 609 followers, and Eelco's been on Clubhouse for a little over a week longer than me, and he has 12,000. I think it's actually got like 300 followers just in the last 5 hours. So, dude, how the heck did you get, tell us about that, man? How did you blow up on Clubhouse like this so fast?
It's crazy, man. So, for example, yesterday I grew with 1,500 followers. Today I'm already at like almost 2,000 followers. So it's going very, very fast. And the way I've been doing it has been very consistent with. I think, could you mute yourself, David? Not to maybe not mute yourself, but it's so there's a background noise, David. I don't know what it is, but so maybe unmute yourself now. So just
Has it stopped? Was it me?
Yeah, it is. There is a background noise at your on your end.
It sounds like
Maybe,
it might be a
environment.
I'll take care of that.
A microphone cable.
Do you have a? Do you have
Is that better?
Much better. No background noise. So this is good.
Hey guys, can you hear me? Okay, now.
Okay, awesome. So you were telling us how you gained almost 13,000 followers in the last 29 days.
Yeah, and I think 95%, maybe 98% of the followers are from Holland. And what I've been just been doing is really providing a lot of value, being very consistent with providing the value, giving a lot of ideas, a lot of strategies, and yeah, I use the word cocktail a lot this week. That it's like the perfect cocktail of a lot of different things, why it's just working so well for me. And but the growth it's exponential. It's growing very hard, and it's a lot of fun. So it's funny. I did a room tonight about the lessons learned going from 0 to 10,000 followers, which is now almost 13,000 followers. Um, and it's I don't know what I want to say. Um, yeah, I don't know. It's just so easy for me. It's just something. It's almost. Oh yeah, that's what I wanted to say. Like, it's funny how a small piece of software on an iPhone changes the whole game and changes the whole
Mm.
business. And so for me, it almost feels like it's made for me. And so it's almost second nature. It's a lot of fun. I love connecting with a lot of people, but I also love teaching and helping entrepreneurs. And I think the whole combination of a lot of different things is just why it's working so well. But also something that's very interesting is the Dutch market. Like, I'm just wondering how fast the US peeps are growing on Clubhouse versus the way I'm growing for on Clubhouse right now. So that's something else that's very interesting. This whole app is none of us know where it's going. None of us know how it exactly works, and that's the beauty of it. None of us know exactly what's gonna happen. That's what I also love about Clubhouse. Like, we're doing this room right now, David, and it's because of Clubhouse. I mean, if we uh, and I mean, I would love to like do a Zoom call with you. That's no problem. But just the fact that we do it on Clubhouse makes it so easy for me. And but if we had to do a Zoom call, it'd be like, let's schedule it in a couple of weeks or whatever. Now just okay, Clubhouse, let's go. It's just there's something to it why it's so easy, and so I love it, man. I love it.
Yeah, I think the growth is it's interesting. I mean, it's kind of addicting, right? I mean, when you talk to a lot of people, and yeah, I mean, for somebody to in because I remember you had posted in the Genius Network, you had posted that you were looking at starting something on Clubhouse. Like I remember your first post, and then here we are, 30 days later, and all of a sudden, here we are. You've got almost 13,000 followers. I know you've sold a lot of your training kits. You do a lot of online training. So why do you think it's taken off like that?
Yeah, again, it's like this cocktail of. So, for example, I created 600 podcasts in the last couple of years, and all of them I created with my iPhone. So the way I'm presenting right now, it's second nature for me because I'm talking into an iPhone, and I did 600 episodes of me talking in an iPhone. So there's um, no like it's within my comfort zone. I have a lot of experience as an entrepreneur, so I'm sharing a lot of value. Um,
Mm.
uh, yeah, it's just the whole combination. So the way I do a room, for example, to give you some info about the way I do my rooms, and I think that's also a big differentiator compared to a lot of large um, uh, other rooms, especially in the United States. Is what I do is I present a topic. So, for example, yesterday I did the power of pricing, 8 strategies to use effective pricing. And then so I present that in, for example, 20 minutes. Then what I do is the second phase of a room. That's where I do Q&A. So quickly I do a lot of Q&A. So it's a lot of there's a lot of energy and a lot of interaction. And then at the end we close the room with shares. So a lot of people share
Mm.
what they just learned. So it's the combination of teaching combined with coaching combined with community, and that whole combination combined with 50 other different things, it's just something that works very well. And here in Holland, I don't know how it is in the States, but here in Holland the app is literally 4 weeks old. Like 4 weeks ago, I mean, the app was available before 4 weeks ago, but 4 weeks ago I think there would be 29 days ago I downloaded the app and I put it on, and there might have been like 2 rooms, and the total of all the users, I'm guessing that it probably would be like around 200 people. And right now it's growing like wildfire, and I'm just riding the wave. I'm just offering a lot of value, and I'm riding the wave of the growth of Clubhouse. That's another thing. And I'm just curious how that works in the States. Like, how is it still growing as fast as it did? Do you have any idea?
Yeah, I think Christopher had joined us up here. He's got a pretty large group that he runs. He may be able to answer that question. I do want to, before we get to that, I do want to let Michael and Chris introduce themselves, but just to kind of, I liked what you said, about doing a Q&A. So we are going to open it up for Q&A. I also would love to end the session when we do, when we're done. I like when I asked you earlier how long you said, yeah, I said, how long you got, Eelco? You said as long as it takes. So that's awesome. And then, end with some ahas. I'd love to get some takeaways. That said, why don't we have
Yeah.
Michael
David, by the way, can you hear
as
me
a
now?
mod? Just introduce yourself, Mike, pretty quickly, and then Christopher, you can
Hmm.
introduce yourself, and then I'd love you to address Elko's question, and certainly Aaron, if you'd like to as well. So we'll start with you, Mike.
Yeah, I'm a real estate agent. We also work with David. David coaches with us. David's our coach. And yeah, not sure what was there a second part of that? You wanted to
Just,
go to Christopher?
just an intro, brother. You're a really good dude, smart guy. This guy's one of those guys that can put anything together and automate it. So like you can take a process, like if you somehow if you call expireds, he can set it up so that the expireds automatically will get loaded into like a dialer for you and then voice dropped or something. Just like he figures that stuff out. So
yeah, we're big into leverage and tech. That's certainly using tech to leverage and make all the activities of selling in real estate easier, lucrative, and fun. More elf, like Joe Polish says.
there you go. All right.
Hey,
and then
David, could you hear me now?
Oh, there you go, Rich. How's it going,
Yeah,
boss?
I had to leave the app and come back in.
Okay, awesome.
Awesome. Did you
So
want
I'm
an
gonna have
intro
Christopher
before?
do a quick intro, and then we'll get back to you, Rich. How's that sound?
Awesome.
Hey everyone. I love the title of the room. Whenever I see Path to Mastery, I'm like, sign me up. I'm about to be a master of something. So no, my name's Chris. I co-own a brokerage here in Massachusetts, New England area. Just always looking to come from a place of contribution, remain authentic. Who you hear is who I am, just across the board. And Elko, if I'm saying that right, I hope I am.
You do.
To your question, I think one of the most amazing things is that literally that when you do a mind share and when you allow people to kind of dive into what your perspective is and kind of what you see, no matter the level, right? Because the levels are relative, but when you're seeing it at the level in which you are, I just believe people gravitate towards that, especially if your message is consistent. And I do feel that creates a genuine following. I think that this is one of those spaces where if what you're saying is flawed, I can question it immediately, right? Because that's kind of the platform. And I think it's a beautiful thing that, when I see people with certain followings, one of the inclinations I have is their message must be consistent and they must be a very intentional person with what they're giving out. And so I would say that what I found is people love authenticity, they love people that are straight to the point, and they absolutely love contribution. So if you're at where you're at and you're receiving that type of response, I think it's because you've devoted your life to depositing into people at a high level.
Yeah, thank you, Christopher.
Yeah, absolutely. So Rich, let's hear from Rich, Mr. Goldstein.
Absolutely. So first of all, Rich Goldstein, I work with entrepreneurs, help them to protect their ideas with patents and trademarks, and known Eelco for the last few years. And I mean, David, you were asking like how Eelco got from zero to like 13,000 followers in a short period of time. Like, what did he do on the app? And I think the answer really is what he did off the app. It's like, when Elon Musk came to Clubhouse, he had 200,000 followers before he even got here, right? And just comparatively, like, Eelco's a big deal in his small pond of Amsterdam. It's not the biggest country in the world, but in Amsterdam, he is a big deal. And so it's like what he's done off this app, in terms of like not only building businesses, but also supporting the entrepreneurial community. And he's running events that support entrepreneurs. it's kind of like the things that he's done off the app is the reason why when people saw that he's on here, that they're immediately following.
Yeah, I would agree with you 100% on that. And, I've watched some of Eelco's videos, and he is a genuine and authentic, and you can tell he's a person that really comes from the heart. And I think that's why. So thank you for sharing that. And, it's funny because I'm getting an echo. I don't know if that's all right. So when I first heard of Eelco, it was through Joe Polish, and Joe Polish said that Eelco was the Tony Robbins equivalent of, or the Amsterdam equivalent of Tony Robbins. And I say that as a complete compliment. I know Eelco mentioned to me, he said, I don't know if I feel comfortable with that, but I mean, that's such a compliment, and I think, that's why, because he gives. And I looked at your site, Eelco, and I see you on your homepage, it's you just kind of chilling with Richard Branson. I mean, tell us about that.
Yeah, man, that's actually where I met Joe. So the first, I always wanted to go to Necker Island. Necker Island is a private island of Richard Branson, and in 2013 I went for the first time, and that's actually where I met Joe. Joe organized, I must say, a yearly event on Necker together with Yannick Silver, and that was the first time I met him. And the year after, I went again, and that's how I joined Genius. But yeah, man, like Richard Branson, he's such a role model for us entrepreneurs. I think most entrepreneurs, especially a couple of years ago, most entrepreneurs, if you would ask like who's your favorite role model or your number one role model, I think Branson has always been in the top 3 or top 5, and it was always on my list to meet him and to join him on his island. And when we got there, spent there a week in 2013, a week in 2014. Also went to South Africa with him and visited him in London. And he's just an inspiring guy. But also, the funny thing is with Richard Branson is that he's also sort of a really normal guy. He's crazy in a way because he does all these crazy adventures and builds like 500 companies. Is a multi-billionaire, donates billions, wants to go to space, employs like 70,000 people. But also, he's when you're with him, he's a regular dude, and but that makes it also very, very inspiring. So yeah, man, those were two amazing trips. I wanted to go back last year, but COVID came, so hopefully this year. Also, for the people listening, I during this Clubhouse, I wrote down all the notes from the 2 years that I was there. So we visited there with like 15 entrepreneurs, all amazing guys, including Richard Branson. I wrote down all the notes. I call it the Necker notes. I created those for my mastermind to share with them. But if you want access to those notes, just send me a DM on Instagram. Just follow me on Instagram and send me a DM with the word Necker. If you send me the word Necker on Instagram, I'll follow up with you and I'll send you the ebook for free. But yeah, man, like Branson, super inspiring guy, absolutely a role model. Not just all the accomplishments, but also the way he lives his life. So if you're able to run 500 companies and still have a really relaxed lifestyle, which he has, that's something we all can learn from. So super inspiring guy.
Yeah, absolutely. So I'd love everybody to start. Well, by the way, just a disclosure, this is a recorded session, so I hope you know that. If you're okay with that, awesome. If you're not, then now would be probably the time to bail. What would you say, and before I even ask this question, I'd love to, any other mods, welcome to ask questions, or if anybody has a question, just raise your hand. We'll get you up here. Okay, I see somebody just raised their hand. Eelco, what would you say is man, I'd love to hear, like, if there was like one thing that you learned from spending that time with Richard Branson, what do you think that would be? What would be like that one thing?
Well, that's something that I was wondering for years. I read his books, I saw his videos, all that stuff. And oftentimes when we want to, we're searching for that one thing, like what's the unique thing that makes somebody extremely successful. And I always heard him talk about people, why it's very important to work with the best people. And when I got to Necker, like it's an amazing island. It's beautiful, and it's expensive to go there. It's very expensive, and when you invest a lot of money for an experience like that, in a way you expect everything to be very high class, so luxurious and high class, and the way people approach you when they work there and all that stuff. But it was actually the opposite. I came there and immediately I felt a connection with the people that worked there. It was like if they became good friends of mine immediately. And um, and I noticed that, wow, this whole group of these people that work here, they feel like they're friends, but they are willing to do anything for you. So you can ask them anything and they'll do anything for you, and you don't feel um, bad if you ask them for help. So whatever it is you need, they're there for you. But also, they're very friendly. They don't wear Necker Island T-shirts. They just wear flip flops. They wear the way they want to dress. Well, they dress the way they want to dress. And I noticed, like, wow, this is special. Like, these people that work here are very special. And Branson has this one saying, which is such a simple saying, but it's very, very powerful. And he says, a company is just a bunch of people. Like, a company is just a bunch of people. And if you um, find the best people around you, then the company will become successful. If you find people that are mediocre, you will have a mediocre business at best. And if you find poor people, like as in poor-minded people, and forget about it. So what they do at Virgin is, for every person they hire, they have 100 interviews. So out of 100 interviews, they hire one person, and that's how they find the best people. And if you just find the best people, your companies will grow and become successful. So basically, I think his whole the way he became so successful is really hiring the best people. And also, one of the things that made him very successful is big thinking, and combined with big moves, and combined with finding the best people. And that's just the way. That's the way to build a multi-billion dollar empire.
Yeah, I
Chris.
wanted to. Yeah, is it okay, David, if I ask
Oh,
something?
100. Yeah, absolutely, man.
Okay. So, Elka, I wanted to ask you, and possibly Rich or anyone up here, when when you find yourself in spaces where, let's say, let's just call it like this, your peers or people who are doing something at at a higher level than you are, or maybe a place where you aspire to, what's your mindset going into those spaces? So you go to Necker Island, what's the mindset? Because I feel like, especially like maybe for people in the audience, but sometimes there's a battle in your mind, like, I'm not qualified to be here, why am I here, what can I contribute, what can I ask, and I'm just curious to know what was your mindset, or even Rich, David, any of you guys that want to share, what's your mindset when you go into these spaces where there's a lot of value, but you're also very much qualified to contribute to that value.
That's a great question, and I think a lot of people struggle with that, because oftentimes, when we look at ourselves, we see our flaws, we see where we lack, and we see that, sometimes we present the best version of ourselves, but in the meanwhile, we're struggling in other areas of our life. So one of my intentions when I enter, for example, an island like that, or a group of people where I can learn from, and that are people that are at a high level. One of my intentions is, uh, well, let me just put it this way. One of my mindsets is, I don't want to be the smartest guy in the room. I would prefer to be the dumbest guy in the room so I can learn. So when you prefer to be, quote unquote, the dumbest guy in the room, the only way you can do the only thing you can do is learn. There's the only way is up. And so it's fine not to be the biggest player in the room, because that's the way you learn. Like, you learn and grow by surrounding yourself with people that are better than you. So for example, if I want to improve my health, it's a great idea to surround myself with people that are super healthy, because it wears off on you. So that's one. So my mindset is, like, I don't want to be the smartest guy in the room, and that's why I travel to the States oftentimes, to connect with people, for example, people like David and Rich and other people in the group that we are in, Genius Network. So that's one thing. The other thing is that when I enter, for example, a room like that, or I think in rooms nowadays with Clubhouse. So when I enter a group like that, my intention is always the reason why I think I'm here won't be the reason why I'm here. So for example, with Necker, I thought the reason why I was there was like, okay, I'm going to learn strategies on how to grow my business. But actually, when I got to Necker, it was April in 2013, the first time I went there. My daughter was 10 weeks old. And it's a journey. When you become a father, it's a journey, and it's not always easy. So I had some of these, I want to keep it nice. I had some of these my mind was messed up. Let me put it this way: when it comes to certain parts of of fatherhood, and I was struggling with that. It was tough for me, but I got to Necker, and one of the conversations that was going on day one was a multi-hour conversation about fatherhood, and I was like, wow, this is so relevant for me. And that was, for me, I made such a huge connection between me and my daughter on Necker, which was the other side of the world, but it was just so valuable for me as a father. So the reason why I think I'm here won't be the reason why I'm here. I'm open for anything. Even with this talk right now, David, I'm open for anything. I didn't plan to talk about Richard Branson. I didn't plan to be on stage with other people or whatever. I'm just open. The reason why I think I'm here won't be the reason why I'm here. And that's just something that allows for you to receive miracles and great ideas and great blessings and all that stuff.
I love that. So I just want to ask everybody that's listening in. We've got about 100 people or so in this room. If you know 2 or 3 people that you think would benefit from this conversation, please just hit that plus button, and let's invite some others into this amazing conversation. So Path to Mastery is my podcast. It's been around since 2016. We're at about, I don't know, 215 or so episodes now. And I've been fortunate to have some cool, I've had Gary Vee and Chris Voss and Mel Robbins, and I've had some really cool guests, I've been fortunate to get a lot of other, Brian Tracy. But the interesting thing is to Chris's question, one thing, I think it's a confidence question, right? I think, sometimes, and I find myself still feeling like, well, I'm not sure if I belong in this room. Maybe I don't have as much money as these people, or I don't have as much success. And it's interesting because through doing my podcast, it's helped me to interact with a lot of people that are a really, really high level, and I like Gary Vee. Gary Vee's actually a cool, down to earth dude, just like anybody else. He just happens to be, Gary Vee, right? Or Mel Robbins is another example. So the way I got Mel on my podcast is she actually thought I was another David Hill when I reached out to her. And so her response to me on my email was, fuck yeah. And I'm like, oh,
that's so funny.
That's an interesting response from Mel, but yeah, I'll take it. Right. So, and then we jumped on the phone, and in her, she was having some internet connections, so she gave me her cell phone. We did the interview on her cell phone, and she's telling me about her, how she wakes up and she's frustrated, and I'm talking to Mel Robbins, and and the reason it's like, they're all human beings. They're people just like the rest of us, and I think for me, I just, man, I love engaging with people like that and meeting people and just coming from a place of contribution, man. I feel like if we really come from that place of wanting to help people, we just can't lose.
Yeah. And one more.
I think, no, I'm sorry. Yep. You can jump in, man.
Okay. So, Christopher, one more thing is, if you are uncomfortable, for example, in a room with the people that are other level on certain areas of their life, be open about that. If you're just like, hey guys, I'm a little bit uncomfortable here because I look up to you guys. You guys are amazing. I'm so happy that I can learn from you guys. if you're just open and honest about that, that gives a big relief. And people want to help. So if people are at a high level, especially when they're at a high level, they want to help you out, and get to that level as well. So if you're just open and honest about that, that's a great strategy as well.
I love that. Elko, what's interesting? When I was a kid, and my son does it to me now, so it makes me laugh. But when I was a kid, I had an interesting upbringing, but a short fragment of it was my stepfather was running for prime minister of Aruba, and I was 7 years old, and I didn't understand the implications of that and all this stuff. And one of the things that was so interesting was that every time we were around quote unquote important people, I would ask irrelevant questions, just bold questions that any
Yeah.
toddler would ask, that's like, oh my gosh, how could a kid ask that? And what I realize is that my son does it to me now. And the funny thing is that I realize that in our innocence, right? And when we don't understand the position of someone, that's when we're most authentic. That's when we ask
Exactly.
the questions that matter. And
Yeah.
so I literally live my life like that now. I literally don't care what your position is at all. What I care is that that I'm gonna love hard, that I'm gonna care hard, and I just want to know if you're gonna do the same. Because if you're gonna do the same, then we're gonna live our lives in a way where there'll be constant contribution. And once I became clear about how I want to align myself, it just didn't matter anymore. It didn't matter what the position was. It was just becoming real clear on who's who and who offers what, and that's just been my disposition. I'm trying to teach my son the same thing, and my daughter, because we got nothing else. We have each other. This is a world that we share, and in the most humbling time like a pandemic, I just feel like we got to get real with each other. So thank you so much for sharing what your mindset was on Necker Island, and also you, David. Man, this is a great platform, and I look forward to hearing so much more.
Thank you, Christopher. So, Michael, you've been up here for a little bit. What do you got, brother?
What I'm hearing is when guys were just talking, I think they also call this imposter syndrome, right? And I think it's kind of funny. You tell a story about Mel. You were like the ultimate. You were an imposter. When she called you, you weren't even the same David Hill. That's. But I think that's like it gets at, right? I'm curious, like when Eelco, when you get to the level that you're at, have you ever experienced that type of thing of like an imposter syndrome? You find yourself in a room of people that you just can't believe you're with, and should I be here, or how did I get here? Or that imposter syndrome sort of mentality, does that ever fade away, or have you experienced that?
It's uncomfortable to be around people that are like at a very high level, especially when you're insecure about yourself, or you have these beliefs that you're not good enough or whatever. But and that's, we grow, right? Like we evolve as human beings, and but I mean, if you truly feel about yourself that you're good enough, that if that's your core belief, um it makes everything so much easier. And but yeah, man, I've had that many times when I went to events, or for example on Necker, I was like, man, what am I doing here? Like, am I good enough to share value? But I noticed like very quickly, and again, like people at a high level, and overall people want to help out. People overall see good things in you. So it is something that I've experienced many times. But you got to go through it, and I'm 40 years old now. I feel that right now I'm good, in any room with anybody, because I feel good about myself. And when you feel good about yourself, um, it's okay to be with anybody, because, and if you are impostering, like if you are uh, consistently showing the best version of yourself on social media, or um, blowing up numbers, or as in making them larger than they actually are, or lying about certain stuff, yeah, that's a problem. But if you're just open and honest and authentic, there's nothing to worry about. And so yeah, and I noticed what Christopher says, like people at a high level, they like to be approached in a human way. If you look up to somebody and it's like, oh man, I look up to you so much, and man, can we get a picture, and here's my business card or whatever, that's a big disconnect. But if you just talk about music or make a joke about their shoes or whatever, that's a great way of connecting with people at a higher level. So it's it's I think everybody has it or had it, but it's also very important to outgrow that and just know that Richard Branson, he goes to the toilet as well in the morning, and he's a human being, and I mean everybody's a human being besides Elon Musk. Like everybody, and that's the only person that I would be very maybe uncomfortable with, but maybe not. I don't know.
He may make you feel uncomfortable.
Yeah, well,
But
most likely.
and so Michael, thanks for jumping in, brother. And the other Michael that's up here with the question. What question do you have, sir?
Well, I'm actually the guy that you guys were just talking about, not wanting to come up because I feel intimidated. So I'm coming up here. It's been a great talk so far. But I saw on Eelco's profile, you started selling hip hop records online in 1999. I thought that was really, really interesting. Would love to hear a little bit more about that, and then also, what you see as, I guess, something similar to that, but what the next big thing is that you see coming.
Yeah. So first of all, Michael, I applaud you for going on stage. I really understand that it's a big step for you, and but again, like now you stepped out of your comfort zone. Now you're on stage, and the next time you want to do it, it's easier to push that button. So great job with that, Michael. So yeah, for me, when I was 18, 19-ish, I was still studying. I lived at my parents' place. We lived in a small city in Holland, like 100 miles outside of Amsterdam. I had all these side jobs. So I was working at a grocery store. I was working as a taxi driver in the weekends during the nights. I was doing a lot of different side hustles and a lot of things that like I didn't mind doing them, but I felt like this is not really fun. But it's fine. I always wanted to work. I was fine with working, and I used to be, or I still am a big lover of music and especially hip hop. So I used to be a DJ when I was like 14, 15, 16 years old, and I was collecting a lot of hip hop records. And at one moment in 1999, I had around 500 hip hop records, but I didn't have that much money, so I was always searching for at flea markets or secondhand record stores, or like I was trying to find them for as cheap as possible. So I tried to buy them on average for like 3 guilders, which is like $2. And at one moment on a Sunday afternoon, I had 500 records, and I was like, well, I got like 100 records that I don't like that much, or maybe they're double, so I've multiple of the same records. And there's this new website online, and the website is called Marktplaats, which is like the Dutch Craigslist. So on a Sunday afternoon, I put a simple ad on the advertising platform, and the ad was something like, "Hey guys, I got like 100 hip hop records. If you want a Word document with all the titles, just send me an email to hiphopstop@hotmail.com." That was the email address. Hiphopshop@hotmail.com wasn't available, so I had hiphopstop@hotmail.com, and that was the whole ad. And that afternoon, I got a lot of emails from hip hop heads here in Holland, and they were requesting the Word document with 100 titles. So I bought them on average for 3 guilders, and I was like, you know what? I'll just put 12 guilders on it, which is like $6-7. And that afternoon, I sold over 40 records, so I made 500 guilders, which is like $250, and that was the first moment in my life that I actually was making money with something that I was passionate about, because I was super passionate about hip hop records. But also a light bulb went off, like, wow, this whole internet thing, it's amazing. You can just make money from home. And that was the moment that I really decided to just buy up all the collections in Holland, all the hip hop collections in Holland, and then sell them through this simple advertising platform, Marktplaats, which is like the Dutch Craigslist. And every time I got new records, I put them in the Word document, I sent an email to everybody, and I was just making money. And it was so much fun. And then I figured out this website called eBay. And I was like, this can't be real. Like I can buy thousands of hip hop records. I don't have to drive through Holland all over the place. And I can just buy large lots of hip hop records. And that's when I started selling and buying on eBay. So I sold tens of thousands of products on eBay. And then I did that for a couple of years. And then in 2004, I came up, I figured out this forum on the internet, which is called the Warrior Forum, which is an internet marketing forum. And they were talking about all these things like passive income and information marketing and selling ebooks and all that stuff. And I lurked for like a year. Like I was reading everything because I liked the hip hop record business. But after a couple of years, I got sick of it because like it's so much work to buy them, make a picture, put them online, all that stuff. I wanted to really grow with something that I was also passionate about, but also something that's scalable. And in 2005, I launched my first ebook. I was the second person in Holland that was selling ebooks. And the ebook was about eBay, how to sell on eBay, because I outsold all of my competitors on eBay with just some simple practices. And from there, I needed software to sell those ebooks. So, for example, we needed a payment system provider because it didn't exist. So it didn't exist in Holland that if somebody buys something, that they automatically can download your ebook, for example, like ClickBank. So we built PayPro, which is a Dutch payment service provider. Email marketing didn't exist in Holland, like a good email marketing system with an autoresponder. So we created eNormal, which is an email marketing software in Holland. I started making a lot of money online, and then I was like, wow, I want to share how I'm doing this because everybody has to know how to do this. And in 2007, started doing seminars, and I've been building out my companies just all from that moment in 1999 where I started selling hip hop records from my dorm room in Holland.
Wow, that's incredible. I don't know if this is gonna be Michael's next question, but what's the top three records, Eelco? What are your top 3 hip hop records?
Oh man, like hip hop records sold or hip hop records that I love?
No, that you love.
That's a big question. I would say Watch It Throne, Kanye and Jay-Z. That's in there. I would say 2001, Dr. Dre. That's in there.
Mm-hmm.
I would say maybe Blueprint 2, Jay-Z. Man, like I can keep going, but
Awesome.
that's top 3. There's so. Oh man, Too Short, Cocktails. Too Short, Getting It. Too Short, Getting Where You Fit In. Yeah, man. Like I can keep going. I just love music.
Awesome. Well, thank you, Michael, for the question.
Thank you.
Hey, our friend Katrina just joined us. Katrina. All right, this is a great conversation. So just real quick, reset the room. So we're up here talking to Eelco de Boer. Eelco's an entrepreneur, thought leader, and he's sharing some strategies. He's built multiple businesses. Just a fantastic human being. And what I would ask everybody to do, well, first off, is we'd love to get some questions. So if anybody has questions, just raise your hand and let's share. And I'd love to say, so somebody that never, like, if you're the person that never ever asks questions, like Michael, thank you for coming up here. Like Eelco said, if you're like that, let's get out of your comfort zone and come on up and ask a question. Or if you just have a great question, come up. And the other thing I'd ask everybody to do is please, why don't we hit that plus sign, invite 2 or 3 people that you think would benefit from this conversation, because this is a great conversation. I want to open it to questions, but I also want to shift gears in a minute or so, because Eelco, you have the 70 Clubhouse tips, and I'd love to talk about that and maybe share the top 10 in here with people.
Yeah, man. You want me to share top 10 tips on Clubhouse?
Yeah, why don't we start with that? And then if you have questions, people just raise your hands. And by the way, mods, before we do that, I'd love to get Katrina is a good friend of she's the one who invited me up to Clubhouse. Katrina, you want to just quickly introduce yourself? Fantastic mod, by the way. All right, well, maybe not. Maybe her mic's not working today. So yeah, and then do we have anybody else that has any questions? If you do, just
I see Diana on stage.
okay, Diana. Okay, awesome. Diana.
Hi. Hi, everyone. I'm a little bit excited. I never did that before, and it's recorded, so I'm even more excited.
Congrats.
I'm a technical support engineer. I work for Zoom. I recently relocated from Israel. I actually came in because I came to Clubhouse. Somebody invited me on LinkedIn, somebody I don't know, and I use it to practice languages. So I just follow people in Amsterdam just to practice my Dutch and to practice my Spanish. So it's really nice. My question is for you, Eelco, is why do you think there's a future for this platform? I just I understand. Why do you think it's the future of social media? Why don't you prefer invest your time on Instagram or on other social medias?
Yeah. So I think with social media, some platforms fit you very well, and some platforms are uncomfortable, or it's not easy for you. And for example, for me, Instagram, it's not something that's easy for me. I have close to 20,000 followers there, but it took me like 8 years to get there. With Clubhouse now, it's 4 weeks, and I'm at like close to like 13,000 followers. So it's an extreme difference when it comes to the growth potential, because it's growing very, very fast. So you can actually now really ride that wave if you're active on Clubhouse way faster than, for example, in my case, an Instagram or Facebook or YouTube or whatever. Um, but also, it's easy for me because it's audio only. I'm used to this. I'm used to working with rooms, literally, like giving seminars and working with people and teaching and all that stuff. So it's just, for me personally, it's the perfect cocktail of a lot of different things why it works so well for me. But on the other hand, I don't know what's going to happen with Clubhouse. Like, I'm not sure if Clubhouse will be here in 3 years, but maybe it is, and it will be amazing. For me now, right now, I'm not concerned about that. I don't even think about that. All I'm thinking about is how can I add value? How can I consistently grow? How can I consistently, help more people? And now is the time for me, and also for a lot of other people who have a lot to share, and want to help people. This is the great time to get in the game. I compare it with Bitcoin. Like, everybody's going nuts now about Bitcoin, and we compare ourselves now with like 5 years ago or 10 years ago, like, man, we should have bought Bitcoin. I feel with Clubhouse is that it's sort of the same, like this, and nobody knows for sure with Bitcoin, is it going to become real? And yes, we get more and more sure about that, but nobody knows 100% for sure. And the same with Clubhouse. Nobody knows for sure what's going to happen with Clubhouse. But just imagine if this thing um, keeps on growing and growing and growing, which will be the case in the next couple of months, 6 months, year, most likely, because that's the virality of the platform is big. So I would be completely fine if the platform would stop existing in 3 months. I would still go as hard as I'm going right now if the platform would stop existing in 3 months. Um, but most likely it won't stop in 3 months, and most likely it will grow, and most likely it will become more mature, and they will add Android, and they will open up even more with invitations, like more invitations, all that stuff. So I bet big time on the growth of Clubhouse, but also I'm very grateful for what's happening right now. So if I had to quit right now, or if something would happen and the app would be deleted, you can't get on Clubhouse anymore, it would have already been a great investment of my time in the last 29 days. So I'm just very excited about it. I'm very happy about it. Very grateful also for it, because for what it gave me the last couple of weeks. And I'm not overthinking what it's going to be or what the rules will be, or maybe there will be a competitor or whatever. I'll adjust when I need to adjust. But yeah, very excited about Clubhouse.
And thank you for your answer. And do you think, and you have a product that you sell, your services, and you have already a product and a business and lots of businesses that you started. What
Yeah.
advice can you give for people who want to grow a following but don't have a product yet? How would you advise them to use this platform, this new platform?
Yeah. So with the 70 tips that I give with the Clubhouse ebook and the video, I think the 67th tip or the 68th tip is it's don't forget your business. So I mean, Clubhouse is amazing, but if you don't have a business, you don't have a business. Why would you want to be on Clubhouse? Maybe you want to connect with people, find new friends, all that stuff. But like, don't forget your business. So what is a business? And this sounds very simple, but I remember I shared this on stage a couple of years ago, and there was a guy, he came up to me afterwards. He was like, Eelco, never stop saying that, what you just said. So I told the audience, like, because I got the question from somebody, like, what would you do if you had to start over again? And my answer was, well, business is nothing different, nothing else than having a product and selling the product. That's what a business is. So you need a product, and then you need to sell the product. And if you're not in business yet, but you want to grow on Clubhouse, but you want to become successful as an entrepreneur, I would focus on creating a product or having a product and selling the product. And then maybe you look at Clubhouse, like maybe that's the vehicle that helps me sell this product eventually, or find partners who can promote this product or whatever. So, if you have a big following, it's easy to find a product and sell it. If you don't have a big following and you don't have a business yet, I would definitely start with building the business first. So getting the product, finding the product, creating product, whatever it is, and then sell the product one-on-one. And maybe later on you go through webinars or launches or challenges, and then look at, for example, a Clubhouse. Like, is this going to serve me? Is it going to help me? Or maybe is it just going to suck up a lot of my time? So again, like, you don't need to be, if you want to become successful as an entrepreneur, Clubhouse won't fix your problems as an entrepreneur. And the problem as an entrepreneur is like, oh, I don't have a product that I can sell. Well, Clubhouse is not going to solve that problem for you. You need to go out in the real world and find a product or create a product or buy a product or whatever, and then start selling it. So that's, if I would be in your situation and I wanted to start a successful business, I would focus on the business side first, having a product, and then sell the product.
Thank you so much for your for your answer. I just see that right now I was in Clubhouse for like maybe 2 days or 3 days. Right now I'm just exploring it. But I see that it's more about mentorship and information, people who sell information.
Yeah, it could be anything. I mean, there's a lot of musicians on it, a lot of actors, a lot of athletes, and they don't preach, as I would say it. They don't have 7 strategies for or whatever. They just are here to connect and have great conversations. So it's a little bit of everything on Clubhouse. You don't need to be an information marketer to be on Clubhouse. So it's that's the beauty of Clubhouse. You can use it any way you want to do it. So yesterday we had in one of my rooms there was the Clubhouse shaman. So what he's doing during his rooms is where he's just playing on the steel drum, and he's doing some humming and all that stuff, and people get in meditation mode, and they they become relaxed and all that stuff. Well, that's a very unique way of creating value on Clubhouse. So there's a lot of different things that you can do. It doesn't necessarily need to be information that you're teaching. It could be anything.
Interesting. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Diana.
Thanks for the great questions. We appreciate it. Does anybody else have any questions? Something I was. I'm sorry.
Angelique is coming up. Yeah, go ahead, David. Go ahead.
Something I was. Well, you know what? We'll let Angelique ask her question first.
Oh, thank you for pronouncing my name so nicely.
Did I get it? Good.
I'm
Thank
just
you.
I think two or 3 days in Clubhouse. I know Eelco from LinkedIn, and I ordered his ebook. But I was wondering, maybe somebody can give me an answer on this. Why are you on Clubhouse? What's the main priority why you joined?
You are you referring? Who are you asking?
Oh, it could be anyone. Doesn't matter. I just want to know why you joined.
Well, I can I can tell you, a friend of mine invited me. It's funny because a few weeks ago, or whenever it was, probably about 3 weeks now, a friend of mine on Facebook said, "Hey, you should check out this Clubhouse thing. You'd be really good at it." And I'm like, "What is Clubhouse?" And I kind of ignored him. And then another friend sent me an invite, and I went in and I checked it out, and it's cool. I mean, I have some new. I consider, like, Christopher here that's with us. We've never actually met in person, but I consider him a friend. It's like we're in rooms together. We share. We kind of, I wouldn't say we know each other, but we kind of know each other. There's a half dozen people like Aaron Wittenstein that's up here today. Aaron and I used to spend some time together years ago. 10 years ago, we kind of went separate ways, and now all of a sudden, we're hanging out again. So it's brought some of that really cool stuff back. But the other thing is, I mean, I also am a coach. I coach real estate agents. I help real estate agents create, work less hours and make more money while working less hours. So since I've been in Clubhouse, I've had about 25 or 30 real estate agents follow me outside of Clubhouse now that I can pour into, besides just pouring into Clubhouse. So I want to use it as a strategy, not because I see a lot of people that no matter when I come on, they're on here, and I don't know that they're selling products or anything. I don't know. I think it can be very addictive. So anyway, that's my answer. I'd love to hear. Obviously, anybody else can jump in too.
Well, thank you for your answer. If I can just join in again, I joined just to check to see how people are doing their businesses. I'm just looking up to people who are doing coaching and are speakers, in public, because I want to tell my story one day, but I don't know how. So I'm here really to look for information, to follow the people I also follow on Instagram or LinkedIn, to see what they have to say. Because in this app, I'm sorry if my English is not that good, but I'm trying really hard. In this app, you get more information because you can hear the people talk and you get more in connection. So that's for me really, really nice. So yeah, I find this very good because you get soon a more one-to-one connection, so more information. So that's what I want to say.
Your English is perfect, by the way. So
thank you.
That's really good. Rich, I don't know if Rich is still here. Rich, are you still here with us? Or I'd love to kind of hear Rich's answer to that question. I mean, Rich also has close to 13,000 followers as well. So I'm not sure if he's I know he said he was going to be in and out. So Chris, you're welcome. Anybody's welcome to answer that question. I mean, Christopher, Michael.
Yeah. I mean, Angelique, I celebrate you. I see that you have the party cannon, right? So means you're newer to Clubhouse. I think that you should try to put some type of link that connects you to something social media related, or tell us a little bit about yourself, via your profile. It just helps create a genuine connection. And what I would say is that we jump on Clubhouse because we're all trying to tell our story. We're all trying to pour into, we're all trying to be in a space where we can actively connect. So Angelique, please stick around. David is an incredible guy. Eelco, I know of Eelco because of David, so I'm grateful for that connection. And I know I've heard Rich, I've heard Michael, great guys. But continue to tell your story, continue to stick around. And if you feel inspired, then I guess Clubhouse did its due diligence for you.
Masters, hey, I'm going to get you right back to the show. I just want to make sure you go get registered right away for Virtual Listings Mastery. It's on March 5th. This is going to be your complete listings workshop from start to finish. Okay, we have 7 experts that are going to come in and share different, unique, specific strategies to take listings right now. You're going to get all the audio files from this event so you can listen to it again and again. We're going to be sharing some worksheets. I mean, this is all you need to invest in to make sure that you make 2021 the best listing year you've ever had. So go get registered right away, virtuallistingsmastery.com. We're capping out at 100, so eventually you will not be able to register. So if I were you, I'd go get registered right now, virtuallistingsmastery.com. Get registered, get your ticket, and we'll see you on March 5th. We just want to pour tons of value into you and give you some strategies to take listings now. virtuallistingsmastery.com. Enjoy the rest of the show.
Yeah, I really did. But I really like the fact that you are able to join a room and you're able to speak with other persons like this, because if you're just joining, for example, Instagram, then it's very difficult to get a connection. So I must say to Eelco, you're doing it always right, because every time I connect with you or ask you a question through LinkedIn, you always answer. I think that's really good because you have a lot of followers. So a big up for you for that.
Thank you, Angelique. Thank you.
Yeah, since we've started this room, Eelco has an extra like 200 followers, and I have 20. So you're 10xing me. I love it. It's
Sorry
awesome.
about that, David.
No,
Can't
dude,
help
that's
it.
good. That's fantastic, my friend. I just got to start hanging out with you more.
Everybody follow David and Michael and Christopher and Angelique and Rich and Aaron.
Yeah, please follow all of these. Everybody up here is absolutely awesome. And Eelco, we just want to say, listen, we really appreciate your time here. I'm not sure how much time you have left. I would love to, if you'd share some of your hacks or your tips, the Clubhouse tips, maybe the top 10. And then I have another question, but I'm happy to, anybody else has questions, by all means. How you doing on time, Eelco?
I'm good, man. I'm good.
Okay. All right.
So like when I look at Clubhouse, so I wrote down these list of 7 new lessons that I've learned. So if you want to have the 70 lessons, just send me a DM. If you're Dutch, just say you're Dutch, and if you're English, just say you're English, because I have it in English and in Dutch. Send me a DM on Instagram. I'll send you the 70 tips. I created a new list of 7 strategies or 7 ideas that helped me go from 0 to 10,000 followers in 28 days. And these are the 7 lessons. So number 1 is try out a lot. Like try a lot, do a lot of new things. So for example, now we're doing this the way David is doing this. He's hosting this. But based on this room, David might, come up with a new idea, or maybe like, man, this worked very well. Let me do more of that. Or maybe that didn't work that well. Maybe cut that out. So rule number 1 is try a lot. Like really look at all the different creative ways you can host rooms, you can run rooms. And that's lesson number 2. Then you find your base, as in, this is what I'm doing. Like 50% of my rooms are this way, or maybe 50% of my rooms I'm doing a lot of interaction, or maybe 50% of my rooms I won't do any interaction. Whatever it is for you, just find what works for you, and then do more of that. So 1, do a lot, create a lot, start a lot of new rooms. Then based on that, go to step number 2, is do more of what already works. Step number 3 is super important, super not sexy, but consistency is king. So I mean, you can go on Clubhouse once a week, and that would be cool, but you probably won't really grow fast. But if you're consistent and you do, for example, a room every day or every other day or whatever, that's how you can grow. So for me, I'm consistently doing 2 rooms per day, most of the time at 12:30 p.m. and 7 p.m. And sometimes, I'll add a third room when David asks me to, like, hey, let's do a room, or we came up with the idea, like, let's do a room together. So this is my third room of the day. I'm super consistent, and the consistency is very, very, very important. Number 4 is find your own moderating style. So you have to moderate the room, and I have my style of moderating, and it fits me very well. I like the way I'm moderating my rooms. So my rooms are high energy, a lot of value, a lot of Q&A, and then we end with a lot of shares. Strategy number 5 is don't spend so much time in other people's rooms. Yes, if you get on stage of other people's rooms, you will get some more followers, but is it worth the time to invest an hour, 2 hours to get like 20 new followers? I'm not sure. What David is doing right now, and I think David, after this room, he'll have way more followers than he had when he started his room, simply because he starts a room. So start rooms, invite other people, and get on stage, but don't spend all of your hours of the day in other people's room, because it just, I mean, unless you love it and unless that's your way to grow. But for me, that's not the case. And strategy number 6 is this, and this is very important for me as well. And this is why I love Clubhouse. And this is also what David is doing right now. This could be your greatest content. Like, David asked me a lot of great questions, and the other moderators asked me a lot of great questions as well. So, for example, the question from Chris, like, how do you deal with people? How do you deal with when you're uncertain when you are around great people? That's a great, great question. And I think I gave a decent answer, which is great content. What I do is I record most of my rooms. So I have a video, just an iPhone that's filming me, and so I can just you know take out that question from Chris. I could even remove his question and make a new intro, and that's content that I would never create by myself. I would never come up with that piece of content. But Chris triggered something in me, asked a question, and based on that, I created some content. So it's a very, very easy way to create large amounts of content. And as you know, David, I created a challenge for creating 221 videos in 2021. When I uh, when I came up with that challenge, I was like, wow, that's a lot of work. Now I'm like, wow, 221 videos. That's like done in like a week. It's just so simple now because I create large amounts of content on a daily basis, and that's something else that's super valuable. And tip number 7 is very, very important as well. It might not be a hack, but it gives you peace of mind. Is stop comparing yourself to others. Compare yourself to yourself. Like, if David compares his following with my following, yeah, well, he doesn't really get happy. But if he compares his following in 30 minutes compared to how he started like an hour ago, it might make him happy. So compare yourself to yourself versus compare yourself to other people, because it's so easy to look at other people and be like, man, they're growing so fast. Am I doing something wrong? No, you're not doing something wrong. You're being you. You're doing whatever you can. So that's very important as well, in my opinion.
Thank you, sir. Excellent, excellent. So do we have any questions? Anybody else want to pop up, ask a question? And we will start winding down. A question I
think a lot.
have. Yep, I'm sorry.
Go ahead. Well, let me just say this. I think a lot of people are uncomfortable with sharing or asking a question in English. So if you're uncomfortable asking a question in English, I can totally relate. It's something that's very obvious for a lot of Dutch people that, man, when you're communicating outside of your native language, you have to think while you're talking, which is hard. I every time when I'm speaking in English, today is great, by the way, for me. Like, I'm flowing, but oftentimes when I'm speaking in English, I have to think while I'm speaking, which is never good for flow. Like, you just want things to go out of you smoothly. So if you're like if that's the reason that you don't want to get on stage right now, I would highly suggest get over it. Get on stage. How cool is it that you are on an international stage? So if you just push the hand sign and you get on stage, after you got on stage, you can say like, man, I got on an international stage like last night. How cool is that? So if you're scared, I totally can understand. I can totally relate as well. But let that be the reason to do it, because that's where you're growing. So that's my pitch for raising your hands. But you wanted to ask something, David.
You know what? I'm muted myself there. I was thinking about this morning, and like what, and I'd love to hear from you, Eelco, and maybe Chris knows on this, is like, I'm trying to figure out the game here with this. So what I've noticed is there's a lot of these big rooms forming, or these big groups or networks or whatever you want to call them, and they're starting to talk about membership. And I'm wondering, is that what this is going to turn into? These now, if you want to come into these large rooms with thousands of people, you're going to have a membership fee. I'm just kind of curious to get your thoughts on where do you think we're going with this?
I'm not sure. I don't know if they will do that. I think it would be a smart move for them to do that, because I do feel that things are growing and growing, and what people love about Clubhouse right now, and I think it will always stay this way, but what people love about Clubhouse right now is that you're so close to people that usually it's very hard to become close to. And if they would add a membership function where you pay, for example, a monthly fee and you get access to certain rooms, you get even more closer um, to the people that you follow. So it could be a great model. I don't know if I would use it. I'm not sure. I don't think so, actually. I just what I like is really inspire and help as many people as possible, and I don't want to cap that by adding a membership. But I do think it could be a feasible business model for a lot of people who are here on Clubhouse.
What I'd love to do is hear from the mods that you guys been with us for a bit. At least kind of, I would love to have everybody share, and we'd love to get some other people up here as well. Like Eelco said, raise your hand. A great opportunity now to just get uncomfortable. It's a safe environment. It's growth, right? When you raise your hand once, you share. It's just going to be so much easier next time, and you're going to feel amazing. So I would encourage you to do it if you've never done it. But let's start off with the mods. I'd love to hear, what would you say you took from today? What would be your biggest takeaway?
I don't mind going first. That question that I asked Eelco earlier, about what's your disposition, with when you're in environments that feel, intimidating, and I felt like that was an amazing takeaway because I align with it personally. And to your point, David, I hope Clubhouse doesn't become subscription based, because I think it's already a barrier of entry if you don't have an iPhone. But now, I feel like we live in a world where people deserve and want access. So why not the first, let's call it 5,000 people who show up early and show up on time? Why can't they benefit from that room, that was created, to hang out with David Hill and Rich and Eelco? Why not they benefit from that? Because they showed up, they're consistent, they show up. The other thing too is that, I feel like when you start to focus on the monetization of something, I believe it changes how you deliver, content, what you're speaking on. It's a little more, now you're focused on what's my value add. I got to deliver something, because now you're in the customer service space unintentionally, but that's kind of what happened. So, that my major takeaway is mindset. It doesn't matter how big the room is, or in Eelco's case, the island is. We show up who we are, and we show up from a disposition of just wanting to learn. Even when we know maybe we know more. Maybe we know a little more about something. But the truth is like when you go into a space just wanting to ask questions and learn, I just feel like you gain so much more value. So that's kind of what was my massive takeaway today.
Awesome. Yeah, loved your question, by the way. Love your question. You know, years ago,
it's free, and it's on recorded, David Hill. So it's free, man. Take it.
Can I just send you like $5 or something for that?
Absolutely.
All right. It's worth a lot more than $5.
Can I
you know,
can I get $5 as well, David?
You can get $15. How's that?
Oh, nice,
sound?
nice. I'll take.
So you know, a few years ago, I was auditioning for this training I was a Keller Williams agent for a long time, and I became a bowls coach. And I remember the first time I auditioned to be a bowls coach, I was so nervous. I was so nerved up. I mean, I had presented many times on stage, but I just got so into my head. And I always remember what this bowls coach Russ said to me. He was another coach. People must have sensed how nervous I was. He came up to me on a break and he said, "You belong here." And I'll tell you, that was a life-changing statement for me, you know. And I always remember that, man. Really, really good dude, Russ. So I'd like to hear, as a matter of fact, you know what, Steven. So hey, Steve, you came up. What do you have, brother?
Hey, hello everyone. Yeah, I'm like 1 week or something on on Clubhouse, and I really enjoy it because of the authentic content that's here. Also, yeah, like what has been said, like you can join with people that you on other platforms you don't have the chance to talk with, and then you can also see them from like another way. But yeah, I do have a product, but I'm still at the beginning for my new business for creating content, and I was kind of triggered. Yeah, I do feel an urge to also start rooms, but at the same time, it's kind of sounds easier on other platforms to create content that you can reuse. Like if you write blog articles, then if you write consistently, then after a while you really have like a set of articles that people can read and also feel your thoughts, your authentic self. The same with video, and I do see that you are recording, but I don't see how it can work exactly, because what I like on Clubhouse is what kind of value is shared at the moment, and I have the feeling that the value is far more better than what I see mostly on Facebook, for instance. But so it's kind of yeah, how do I say? It's kind of sad that you can't really record it as well or reuse it as well as on other platforms. Does it make sense?
Yeah, totally. And that's what I said earlier, Steven. Is if you of Steven moet ik zeggen, denk ik, is that if you, so for example, right now I'm giving ideas, I'm sharing techniques, all that stuff, and I have a second iPhone that is recording me right now. And as you see in the title of this room, it says recording. So if you are doing a Clubhouse room and you tell people like, hey, this is being recorded, or even if you just use your own video or audio, I mean, those are your words. You can use that. Yeah, it's a great way of actually creating content that you can reuse on a LinkedIn and a Facebook and a YouTube and Instagram and all that stuff. So it's a great way of actually creating content.
Thank you. Thanks, Steven, for the
Thank
question. Linda.
Yes. Okay.
Yes, did you?
Yes, you said come on the stage to feel amazing. And it does feel amazing to be on the stage with you, all of you. So thank you for this opportunity.
You're welcome.
I'm now for 2 days on Clubhouse, and I've done a couple of sessions or many sessions, and especially this morning, I did a session with my own team, and some of our students hopped in. So we had a small session with only 6 people about hands-on healing. And we did a session with the people we already knew, so no new people, because that's a little bit more difficult to get them in. But those 2 students, we did a session with them, and they were life-changing sessions. So it were the people we already knew, but it was really worth it.
That's cool, Linda. And it starts with 6 people, but from there on you can grow, and that's the beautiful thing of Clubhouse. You start small, and then more people will follow, and then more people will catch on, and you're on the app for 2 days and already did multiple sessions. So my hats off to you.
Yeah,
Thank
congratulations.
you. I really like these kind of, thank you.
I'm so happy you came up.
I've-
Didn't feel
I-
amazing.
Yeah, it really does. And I have a background in artificial intelligence, so I'm a little bit more interested than the many of the people that do the same businesses I do, because of my background. But this is real fun. Thank you.
You're welcome. So we have Vivian has come up as well. I hope I said
Hi,
your
my
name
name
right.
is Vivian. Hi. I want to quickly echoing a couple speakers talk about earlier about language, and for myself, I grew up in a very complicated language family, so we have speak 3-4 languages. Grew up, but I don't use a lot of them, so I kind of forget about some of the stuff. So I was using this in a way that I got to practice a little Japanese, I practice a little bit Taiwanese, I practice a little bit Chinese, and this is a pretty good tool to at least practicing something that I once remember better. Another thing I find out is I'm a concert pianist. I also start my business, and as a concert pianist, we grew up in a way are very sheltered, and business world is very very different than I imagine myself to do. So while I'm developing a new extension of my company, I found this Clubhouse is giving me is almost like a free MBA classes. I got to go to a lot of different classes. I got to go to listen to a lot of speakers talk about management, marketing, and even copyright. I think Rick is not there. I think it's one of the reasons I found this room probably is because I was following him. I heard him talk about trademark and stuff, and that was something that I was just spoke to one of the attorney for my company, and I learned really a lot, especially getting more information in a very practical way to do business, in a lot of very creative way to do business. And I'm really appreciate everybody was so openly teaching just every directions, and share the information and share the experience of they've gone through, either good or bad. And I learned a lot, and I think this is very very treasured.
Thank you, Vivian. Appreciate it, and also good to hear how you got here. So thank you, Vivian.
I wanted to insert this, David and Rich, Alco, and even to you, Vivian. What's interesting is I think that sometimes we become, with Clubhouse, we chase an opportunity to share a stage but never contribute. And sometimes we become addicted to being called up. But literally having nothing to share. It's for the sake of you seeing me on the stage. And I just want to say that it's special to be in rooms like these where everyone that you see, whether they're in the audience or not, they're it from a place of genuine contribution. I think that that matters. These rooms excite me personally, because when I start to see, 1,000 people on the stage and only four are talking, and it's they're not even saying anything, it's just an exchange of you're just there to listen to a conversation. It's very different. And so the intentionality behind this space and the access point in which it's happened, very grateful. And thank you for putting this on, David, and thank you, Elko, and thank you, Rich. I know Rich is a massive contributor. I know that he said he'd be in and out. And thank you for those genuine moments about language, Vivian, because I serve the Spanish population, and people who speak Spanish, they're not necessarily comfortable to talk, on stage either, but they have huge questions. And so they'll send me an inbox on Instagram or something like that. So I love this. I absolutely love this. Thank you, guys.
Thank you, sir. So we're gonna awesome, fantastic stuff today. My friend Katrina just came back. There's no way we could end this room without you sharing something. Man, you're the one that invited me here to Clubhouse. So thanks for jumping in. We're gonna start winding down. But what you want to introduce yourself and?
Sure. I'm sorry I had mic problems earlier, and then I had a coaching gig. So gosh, I really feel like I missed out. I got really bad FOMO over this room. I'm sure it was amazing. David's awesome. Christopher, I just adore you. And Rich, I'd be happy to meet you, and Elko too. I'm so sorry I didn't get to meet you guys. I'm here in the Jacksonville market. Been in the real estate game for about 10 years, and I love everything about it. I love the systems, the operations, scripts, role play, just all the different dynamics. And as far as Clubhouse, I'm so thankful for it. Okay, y'all, because I am a single mom with a 14-year-old, and I've been working from home. It is so nice to come into these rooms and catch a high level conversation throughout the day. I'm so thankful, and I've met some great people. And gosh, I had a conversation with a young lady today, and we didn't know each other before Clubhouse, but now we do. And we're definitely going to be able to help each other in our worlds. And I share my story openly on here about the loss I've experienced. And you'd be surprised that every day I have a different DM on my Instagram, somebody that can relate to it, somebody who's going through the same thing, thanking me for sharing. I mean, so it's this Clubhouse just runs so deep, so much deeper than just real estate or just professional. It's so much personal connections too, which we talk a lot in our room in the morning about. So thanks for the opportunity. You guys are awesome, I'm sure. And can't wait for the next room you guys do.
Well, the good news, Katrina, is this was recorded. And I'm going to be using it as a podcast episode. So you're in good shape. You can listen to it. Awesome. All right. Let's do this. So let's get like 4 or 5. I'd love to 4 or 5 people from the audience just come up, give us a quick, succinct, or just, what'd you take from this? I'd also love to hear from, if Rich is still around. I think Michael had to take off. Christy, we don't know each other, but I see you in a ton of rooms. I'd love to, if you want to share. You've been here for a while listening. Love to hear what you took from this conversation. And as people are thinking about that, Elko, I would just ask you, my final question for you is going to be, what would you say you see as the biggest challenge with Clubhouse?
That's a great question, and I think the answer is quite obvious. Is that it's somebody here in Holland says it's social media. It's like the crystal meth of social media. And so the thing is that, Facebook, Instagram, LinkedIn, YouTube, it's very addictive, but it doesn't even come close when it comes to Clubhouse. So the big opportunity is, in a way, that is very, very addictive. People spend a lot of time here. The big problem as well is that a lot of people spend way too much time here. I say, like, you also have your own house, and don't confuse it with the clubhouse. So you might have a family or kids or your parents or brothers, sisters, friends, business partners, colleagues, employees, uh, nature, all that stuff. It also exists outside of Clubhouse. So I think one of the big dangers of Clubhouse is that it's super addictive, and I think it's very valuable and important to find a good balance with that. So yeah, that's what I those are my final thoughts on Clubhouse for tonight.
I apologize. I said that was my last question, but why is it so addictive? Why do you think it's so addictive?
It's like the fear of missing out in many ways. So for example, the fear of missing out, like, oh, I'm missing out on great conversations, because you see a lot of great conversations, see people there. It's 99.9% of the conversations aren't recorded, so like if you miss it, you miss it. But also when it comes to growing on Clubhouse, like the fear of missing out as well, like, oh, I can be in all those rooms, maybe I can get on stage, maybe I can get some followers, am I not sleeping on Clubhouse, all that stuff. So the fear of missing out is like a real thing on Clubhouse, and I think that's what makes it very, very addictive.
And it's so unexpected. I mean, you have people popping into rooms that
Yes.
just so out of the blue, like the business conversation I was in, with Grant Cardone, etc., and then like Warren G pops in. It's like,
No shit.
Wow.
yeah, and Warren G is talking about like, yeah, like I wish I had guys like you around me back then. Like I didn't make you know the best business decisions. And it's like, wow, that was like poignant and surreal, right? And so it's just those unexpected moments.
Yeah.
Yeah, I agree. I was in a room last night in a real estate room, and then all of a sudden Dean Jackson just pops in and starts doing what Dean Jackson does, and it was just cool. All right, well, Rich, why don't you give us one of your takeaways? I know you've been in and out, but what would you say was your biggest takeaway from this room? If a few more people want to raise your hands, and we'd love to hear from you. And if we got you, great, and we'll start wrapping up.
I'd
Yeah,
love
I
to
would
see
say
someone with a party hat
synchronicity.
come up. Sorry, Rich, for talking over you. I'd love to see somebody new come up and ask a question.
Yeah. So I was just saying synchronicity, putting together a new group of people and having a new conversation. Always great to be with you, Eelco, and David. Great to be part of the conversation that you're leading here as well, and to meet everyone else. But I'm actually in another meeting at the moment, but I am hanging out here to complete the recording for you all. So you won't hear from me again, but I am here in spirit and again finishing up the recording. I'll hang around to finish up the recording.
Cool, Rich.
Thank you. I was gonna say thank you, Rich. I mean, Rich, you just volunteered to do this, so again, I want to say appreciate you for doing that.
My pleasure.
Katrina, did you want to add something or?
No, I think I feel I'd missed out on most of the conversation, so I don't know the gist of everything you guys were talking about. I'm sorry, I got a phone call. Having FOMO now, thinking of those rooms where there was Grant Cardone and Warren G. Man, I need to get on more rooms.
Yeah. All right. Awesome. Well, I think Eelco, you I don't know if you want any final nugget for us to take, and I think we're gonna wrap it up.
Yeah, man. I just wanna thank you for having me. This is my first international room. I had some conversation with Dean during Clubhouse rooms, but never really did an international room. So is it normal to say I popped the cherry in with this room, or is it a bad thing to say? I'm not sure.
Do they say that in Holland, or is that
No?
just
We have two words here. We have onmaagde, which is like, I think it's like popping the cherry, and we have ontgroenen, which is like a more normal way to say it. But what's a good way to say it? Like when you do something for the first time. I'm a virgin. I'm an international Clubhouse room virgin, and how do you say? I've
broke the ice,
myself.
man. You broke the ice. I don't know.
That's a good one.
Yeah.
That's a good one. Let's put it this way. Let's put it that way. Yeah.
Yeah, sir. Me too. And this was awesome. I just want to thank. I think the flow is perfect. Having Chris here and Mike and Katrina Pop and Rich. Yeah, and I just want to thank everybody that stepped up and came up on the stage. Please follow Eelco, follow Rich, Chris, obviously, Katrina. If you'd follow me, it certainly would mean the world to me. I got to try to somehow catch up with Eelco. I don't know, maybe. But it's and again, I'm joking. I know I'm not going to compare myself. I do my thing and I just keep showing up. But I'll tell you, my big takeaway from this was fun, and I think going forward, I'm going to start, maybe once a month, start doing this as my podcast episode, which this will be an episode on my podcast. So I think this was really fun and
Nice.
an event to learn and take the podcast to the next level.
Cool, man. Thank you, David, and thank you, Rich and Katrina and Aaron and Christopher and everybody else who's listening.
Awesome.
Thank you, guys.
All right.
Eelco, I sent you an inbox with Necker. I don't know if you want to say that again, but I think you said something early about notes, like if people inbox you and say Necker, and then what language?
So that's thank you for bringing that up, Christopher. So I wrote down all my notes that I made on Necker Island, which is Sir Richard Branson's private island. And if you want those notes, if you want them in English, send me the word Richard on DM. So I previously said Necker, but send me the word Richard as in Richard Branson. So Richard. And if you want them in Dutch, just send me the word Necker on Instagram DM. So follow me on Instagram and send me the DM Necker or the DM Richard, and I'll get those notes back to you.
Hey, I hope everybody has a really great evening.
Thank you, David, and thanks for having me.
Awesome. Thanks, guys.
Bye-bye.
Hey, Masters, I want to thank you for checking out the show. My friends, if you made it this far, it means you listened to the whole show. And I just want to say, listen, I so appreciate you. And hey, again, just thanks. That's all I can say. Thanks. Listen, if you love the show too, please give us a review. Give me a review. Go to Apple, iTunes, podcast, give me a review. It helps tremendously. It helps us get more listeners, more downloads, also better guests, which also benefits you. And here's the other thing. If you email me your review, so email it to me at david@davidihill.com, and I will read it on air for you. I just want to say, listen, again, appreciate you. Don't forget about our sponsors. As always, real estate agents, vulcan7.com/path to mastery. It's the best tool for prospecting out there for real estate agents, vulcan7.com/path to mastery. My friends, every second Thursday of the month, we have our meetup. It's actually a live open podcast episode where you can be part of the conversation. You can ask questions of our guests. Every second Thursday of the month, just go to weloverealestate.net. weloverealestate.net. Get signed up right now. It doesn't matter when you sign up. You'll always be alerted for the next one coming. It's at 4 p.m. Eastern. So again, weloverealestate.net, second Thursday of the month, 4 p.m. Eastern. And finally, my friends, trycoaching.net. If you want to try a coaching call, maybe you've been thinking about coaching, maybe it's something that's been on your mind and you're just not really sure, let's jump on a call. I'm happy to work with you, give you a 30-minute coaching call on me, complimentary. Listen, you're a listener to Path to Mastery. It's the least I can do. And at the end of that, if you want to move on with some coaching, that's fantastic. If you choose not to, that's fine as well. You may know someone else that wants to take advantage of it. It's not even about that. It's about bringing you value, my friend. So go to trycoaching.net. Get registered for that 30-minute call. I want to help you with anything you're dealing with. Whether it's a challenge, it's a big idea, it's a goal, whatever it is, we want to help you work through that. So again, trycoaching.net. My friends, again, thank you for listening to the show and enjoy the rest of your day.